Bless up, bless up. It's your humble host, Big Truck. Hey, you know what time it is, right? Time to tap in, time to get active, time to get into it. Well, just in case y'all didn't know, Clive Davis has transitioned, and we're about to dive into some things, some shocking news stories, and all of that. And artists that have died under him, under his watch, under his contract, or did he have something to do with it? Who knows? We're about to tap into it. We're about to have a conversation. We're about to react. We're going to have some fun. So grab your favorite drink, your favorite snacks, sit back and relax as we take a dive into this thing here called the industry secrets. Grab your shoulder pads and help me to peep this out.
You want to know what she sat there talked about his golden ear? Did she talk about what happened to that ear with Millie Vanilli?
Oh, we gonna go there? Let's go.
I'm just saying, what? I'm serious. Like, what was the ear? Because they wasn't singing nothing. They was lip singing. So I'm just trying to figure that part. Okay.
Well, he had a
However, one of them did expose. Anytime you expose the industry, you know what happens next, right? So you have to really begin to connect the dots, and you really have to understand how this industry flows. If you don't know how this industry flows, it's easy to get caught up. So Jaguar Wright, she's speaking facts on everything. She has receipts because she knows how the industry flows. You follow what I'm saying so far? Let's continue the feast.
golden well, I don't know, maybe a golden retriever. But when it came to Milli Vanilli, maybe it was like a I don't know. Because the
Well,
thing
he's looking at their bare chest and the way they would belly slap one another. Or was he looking at their crotch?
I
Was
don't
he
know.
listening to their nuts screaming in them tight ass pants?
I can't call it. Milli Vanilli though was definitely somebody, a group that we kind of forgot about being tied to Clive.
Now, you seeing this footage here with him and P. Diddy. That was P. Diddy's mentor. So you kind of see where I'm going with certain things, right? Or where Jaguar White is going with certain things.
Uh-huh. That's amazing how that happens, right? It's like a fart in a crowded room, and he just walked away.
Girl,
Like seriously. Yeah, you know it too. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Lord have mercy. Wait a minute, just
Milli
keep
Vanilli.
real with MMJ Elevation. Thank you for being you and keeping it. Oh, thank you so much, Never. Appreciate you. No, but seriously, like everyone keeps forgetting that he was the one that was behind that. And what's even wilder is he's the one that destroyed them. When they got busted, he made sure they were blacklisted. He made sure. And I don't even remember him even acknowledging, because I think it was Fab, the one that passed away, right? Fab was the light
Yes, it
skin.
was. Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's just kind of nutty. But anyway, back to these two.
And actually, it was him that spoke out and called out Clive Davis, too. Maybe y'all didn't remember that part.
No, we could wait. No, the Milli Vanilli side of it. I'll here. What I was about to do is because I wanted to just go a little bit deeper about that story because everybody knows about Milli Vanilli but people really don't even realize even them being exposed was like a play or a scam, because like you said, who wouldn't know that, oh, these people are lip syncing? Like, a person like Clive Davis, of course, he's listening. He's like, well, why don't you sing this for? I'm sure he would get in the room, introduce himself, say, talk to you about, hey, let me hear you hit this note.
I remember when In Living Color did their skit. Do y'all remember when In Living Color did the skit on Milli Vanilli? It was funny. Just wanted to throw that out there and mention that. Let's go.
Even if he's not a music person, he still wants to see what's the talent. Now, didn't you say the moist one on the right let the cat out the bag in an interview one day about the whole thing about Clive and him in the group?
It was the light skin one.
Yeah. The one to the left. Yeah.
Your other right? Yeah.
My other right.
Yeah. He's the one that actually had the courage to say, Clive Davis is the one that told us to do this. Clive Davis is the one that promised us everything would be great. Clive Davis. Like he said it. Rob never said it. He said it.
But again, you signed your soul to the devil. That's the missing pieces that a lot of these artists, right, are forgetting. What happens when the devil comes to collect? What do you do when the devil comes to collect? You don't know when, you don't know how.
I just find it interesting that he's the one that ended up passing away. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Never. I did share that information, and that bus wasn't empty. I spoke to one of the parents of one of the girls who was on that bus in Clive Davis's house. Well, at his house, in his driveway. So,
you know what? I remember the name of the group now. What does Milli Vanilli and this group right here that I'm about to pull up, what do they have in common? And I think if you're old enough, maybe or if you know music, you'll figure it out. Anybody know who this is? It's a German group called Boney M.
That is Boney M.
Yep.
You know the common denominator between Boney M and Milli Vanilli is this guy, this record producer from Germany. His name is Frank Farian.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I gotta look into his connection. He died some time ago, but I gotta definitely look into his connection. Who he definitely was tied to Clive. He had to have been tied to Clive because
see, there's certain artists that have been tied to Clive, and in those artists passing, he has something to do with each and every one of those artists. Somehow, some way. The media will put it one way, but it's behind the scenes. That's the thing right there. It's the behind the scenes. But there's smart enough individuals out there enough to connect the dots, to piece this together, to know what's really going on and what really happened. I got this clip. I got another clip. But the third clip, you want to stay tuned for that one.
Okay, this guy is the mastermind behind these two groups. Boney M, they had a song that went crazy in the 70s. It was like some disco, Rah Rah Rasputin. The brother, he's a German Afro-German guy. He was the singer, and the sisters, they were supposed to. It was all lip sync. It was all lip sync. The guy who was really singing was him.
Yeah.
Frank was singing. He was the one singing.
Yeah.
No, not. See, you see what she put, Kat?
That's crazy.
I don't even want to put it up because this guy was the singer all along, and this group really never got exposed for lip singing, because if y'all listen to the song Rasputin, the brother who's the he's like an Afro-German brother.
It's crazy.
He's not the one singing. He's lip singing all it. This is the real singer behind it, and them sisters were not singing it. It was some maybe some white chicks or whatever. Which
is crazy.
They just used them for the look. Brings us back to this.
They had a look. Don't get me wrong. It was good. It was a good run. And they made money. Well, Clyde made money and gave them crumbs. But you think about it, making a song lip syncing. Come on. And it wasn't until people started figuring out and started connecting the dots. I believe when Milli Vanilli did a concert, and that's when it got exposed. They had a malfunction or something, and and boom.
About 10 years later, we get this.
Crazy. I'll never forget that performance, though. Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know.
Now you and I know about music.
Mm-hmm.
Were they playing that on a record, a vinyl? Because for it to skip like that, you figure it would be like maybe a vinyl record or something, and it just skipped. No. That was clean. That was digital, or at least a 8 at the time, right? Like
yeah.
So that was done intentionally. Now because you were telling me about they were complaining about money.
Yeah. And the second that they started complaining about money, it all went downhill from there.
Clyde said, "Okay, I'm gonna fix you. I'm gonna fix you." When they did their concert and they performed, there you go.
They had made the company so much cash, close to 300 million, and they're like, "Yo, why are we still not making any bread?"
Yeah.
Like, where's our slice of the pie? Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl.
True story, Jag. True story. This is not even a cap or nothing like that. Before Fab, because Rob, right? Rob is the one that passed away, right? No, Fab.
No, Fab, I
keep
believe.
forgetting. Fab, the light-skinned one. My brother saw him because my brother, he used to sell D-rugs. That's a whole nother conversation. And he was trying to get back on his feet. He went to the county building, and he go to the county building. He come back and tell us, I saw the dude from Milli Vanilli in there. This was after the whole, Rob, right? Rob is the one that, Rob. He saw Rob at the county building trying to get benefits. You know how humbling and embarrassing that. Because think about it. And back in the day, the county, it may be a gang of people in there. It wasn't. I'm sure the county building's a bunch of people in there. If y'all don't know the county building, this is where you go and apply for benefits. Before there was the online thing, people would have to go there, stand up early in the morning, or even.
It is embarrassing. You have to go there. Here you are, making records, making millions. Now you at the county building? Come on. That's embarrassing. And you try to hide your identity, but you still get sniffed out because your record label did you greasy. But see, This is a lot of artists that this has happened to. It's just now because you have a lot more individuals studying the industry, knowing about the industry. Now they're able to connect the dots. You see, Michael Jackson, Prince gave you the blueprint of what to do as an independent artist and still make your bread and still control your units. Nipsey Hussle did that too. Nipsey Hussle gave the game. See, Nipsey Hussle was smart. You see, Tory Lanez, smart. So when you look at it for what it is, these labels are hurting now. Clive is gone. Quincy Jones is gone. Who do you really have? You got P. Diddy. You have what? Tommy Mottola. You have old boy Lucian. So we, again, know the business before you get in. Know what you're dealing with. Because if you don't, this is how you will end up. Don't be one of those people that's talented, but yet you sold your soul for what you think is a gold mine, is an opportunity. Nah, you on borrowed time when you do that. And when that time is up and the devil comes to collect, this is a proven fact that he will collect. Before that, yes, there are things that you will have to do.
Camp out over at night just to be first
No,
in line.
we have it. All right, we have it backwards. It was Rob.
Yeah, okay.
Rob is the light-skinned one. Fab is
Rob.
the one that's still alive.
Yeah, Fab is still alive. You're right. Rob is the one that my brother was in a county building with when he was trying to get benefits after all this stuff went down. True story. I'm not lying. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny. I'm sitting here looking at this picture and I'm looking at this pose and it's disturbing me.
Blame it on the Wayne.
Lord have mercy. Like, this pose is really disturbing me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, it's giving female cover pose for Sports Illustrated.
It's like it's giving a feminine pose, like a pose no men should be posing. No men should be posing like this.
It's just
that boy's so sweet. That boy's so sweet. Go wiggle his booty over a cup of coffee and give you some sugar.
ew. Ugh, that was mildly traumatizing what you just said. Anywho, said no, because it's messing with my whole idea of morning coffee now. It's just very emasculating. My God.
No, but it's so sad because we're not gonna harp too much on these two brothers. It's so sad that they got taken for a ride.
Yeah,
And
the ride of their lives.
That's why I mentioned Boney M. Like I said, this is 70s, early 70s. Same guy that introduced Boney M, this guy. Same guy that introduced them, and it was a known. This was a known situation about them lip syncing, but no, it never got to the situation like Rob and Fab, aka Milli Vanilli.
I know.
Because they didn't speak out. They wasn't complaining about royalties. You see? They did. And look what happened. So when you speak out, these are the things that would happen. If you don't speak out, hey.
I know. You ask, can't they can't be flamboyant? It's not about being flamboyant. It's not about, listen to me, Boy George was flamboyant.
We can make fun of moisture. It's fine.
Bootsy Collins was flamboyant.
Yeah, Prince.
Prince was a whole nother level.
Yeah. And we can make fun of moisture. It's nothing. I mean, can y'all chill? We can't.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to tap into this one here. This is my second clip that I want to share with y'all. Again, Jaguar White exposes Clive Davis, TLC, Phyllis Hyman, okay, and other artists that he allegedly did dirty. So let's continue to tap.
Never saw this interview T-Boz did on Monique's show.
Oh.
Tell you because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million and they gave us $50,000 a piece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF and money's at.
So, you know, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. And she was just like, okay, we gonna get LaFace and them girls I was locked up with. We gonna drive up there. We gonna take the guns. And then we had this.
That's one thing about Left Eye. She was that rider chick. She had no filter. But even in her passing, if you watch the video, like when she shared her dream, right? Watch the dude standing behind her in the video. That's the dude you pay attention to. How is it that everybody got injured, but Left Eye ended up passing? Pay attention, people. The industry is not what you think it is. When you sell your soul to the devil and he assigns handlers to you to make sure you stay in line, make sure you don't get out of line, make sure you do what you were supposed to do. That's why they have handlers. That's why you have the gatekeepers. Okay. When you have a full understanding, you'll know how to move accordingly. Let's continue.
Limo driver.
Wait, she just got out of jail.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we had the limo driver, and he was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage, and Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo.
Do you ever have nightmares about TLC holding you hostage that time?
Records interrupted a meeting with Diddy and wouldn't leave till Clive ponied up more cash for their hit album.
They never.
You want to know what's funny? I had to do the same thing to Jay Boberg at MCA.
Yeah.
Except I threatened to bring minors with baseball bats into his office until he cut me and ran me my money.
That's like what Ice Cube did with Priority when they went up there with baseball bats. Did the same thing. Because Cube didn't like what was going on, and Cube had to represent.
Yeah. I said they'll go to juvie, and when they get out, everybody will have PlayStations and brand new Jordans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Same thing.
Shout out to Left Eye.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Left Eye. But
A Philly girl.
yeah,
Notice
that's
it was the Philly girl that
Okay.
said, let's go handle that.
Listen, okay. Okay.
But that's the way you're supposed to be, though. When TLC made that song, "What About Your Friends?" Yeah, that part. But again, Pebbles did them greasy too. You got to know the industry. You got to know the industry. You got to know the business side of it. You got to know what you're getting yourself into when you signing these contracts, because you'll be signing your life away. You think you're getting a bigger deal. Nah, and it's far worse than that. You'll mess around and sign the wrong deal thinking it's the right deal, and you end up getting overworked. They end up taking your money. Now you're building this catalog in which you're supposed to get at a certain time, and you don't get that. When you start complaining, hey, what you're supposed to get, you're not getting. What you were promised, you're not getting. Okay, now we got to get rid of this fool. What do you think the term comes? You're worth more dead than you are alive. Let's continue.
And another one real quick. This one hit it a little bit different. Speaking of Clive Davis.
Afraid because I was so terrorized by him. Whether he meant to do it or not, I'll never know. But he sure taught me that if you try to terrorize me again, well, we can't say that on public radio. What I may do.
Well, we'll say it like this. It's gonna be a long day for you. Because there was a lot of speculations behind Phyllis Hyman's passing. A lot of speculations. A lot of things didn't add up. But in a lot of the reports, Clive Davis' name kept coming up. And if you know like I know, then you know like I know. And it was sad. Because there was nothing wrong with Phyllis Hyman leading up to those days. I know she was struggling with some things, but once again, public opinion. One thing about the industry has exposed itself. And it's not like people don't know, because the way technology is now, it's easier to do your research and to connect the dots versus back then. The way technology is now was not how it was back then. Why is it that every artist that passes away, there's a closed casket? That's a red flag. That's a concern, right? Not a red flag. That's a concern right there. How is it that every artist that have passed, you see a closed casket? I think, like when Marvin Gaye passed, open casket. James Brown passed, open casket. Aaliyah, she was in a clear casket. A clear glass casket. I mean, again, alleged. Are some of these artists alive? It brings a concern. It brings a real concern. Because something is off. You ever get that feeling that something is off, but you can't quite put your fingers on it? A lot of times these artists know that their time is up. They know. You can hear it in their music. You can pay attention and watch their facial micros and their body language.
To someone who tries to hurt me again in this business. I'm not having it. I should be respected as I respect, and I will not have someone try to ruin my spirit and ruin my career. If Clive Davis, if his plan was to destroy my career, it didn't work.
And that was in the 90s. That was a rare interview by Phyllis Hyman, who
not before she passed, not long before she passed.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you go from one group who was done dirty by Clive, and then you go to a singer, a soul singer who, oh man, just very unfortunate. And what she had to say, it's like you. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. But you get why I brought those two pieces up for you to look at.
Understand this. Phyllis Hyman was signed to my uncle's record label.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I know all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, she from Philly. She was from Frankfurt. I knew her before she left the city. Betty Wright is my godmom. She was managed by Clive and terrorized by Clive. No different than Phyllis. The stories that I know, you want to know what's crazy? The simple fact that everyone still believes that accident that Gloria had was an accident.
Not knowing is deeper than that. You see? These are these conversations that we always want to have. Knowing what contract you're signing as an artist, even as an athlete. You have to read the fine print. You have to. This is the conversation that others have on one side that the others on the outside don't know about. They're only going off for perception. They're only going off what the news media says. Okay, let's assassinate this individual's character. So the public will have this to say about them, this individual. Meanwhile, we got something brewing here on the back end that we're going to hit that individual with. You got that individual begging and pleading on social media and in the public. They didn't do this, or they didn't say that, or it wasn't them, or whatever the case may be. Well, this was his past. So guess what? His past showed up, and he's doing this again, not knowing that individual didn't do nothing at all. That individual spoke out because that individual was getting treated unfairly. And how that individual was truly getting treated was not right. All this because I'm speaking on something that was not right. And I'm letting you know how you treat me is wrong. Even down to costing me my life. And then they look at it. This is what you signed. You the one who signed your soul. I'm going to let that marinate.
You know, do you know what me and Gloria Estefan's daughter have in common?
No.
Betty Wright is both of our godmothers.
Mm.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Mother Betty was godmother to Gloria's daughter. When I would go to Miami, I would always eat at the Cordoza on Ocean Drive, Gloria Estefan's restaurant and hotel. You know, a lot of people forget about that accident, alleged accident that she was in on that tour bus where her spine was crushed.
Mm.
So when that lawsuit popped up about her and her husband and Beyonce and Jay-Z and Diddy and the guy, and you remember that lawsuit?
Mm-hmm.
They said Gloria Estefan, they came to yeah, bruh.
So now that brings me to my third and final clip. I want y'all to sit back and peep this out.
It doesn't sit right with a lot of people. We're talking about the voice, the Queen, Whitney Houston. Now, the official story, we all know it. February 11th, 2012, the Beverly Hilton. Accidental drowning, heart disease. Something we heard 1,000 times in Hollywood. But when you actually stop and look at the details, and I mean really look at the specific terrifying details of the night, the accident narrative starts to fall apart real quick. I came across some information recently that paints a much darker picture. A picture that suggests Whitney Houston didn't just die. She was chosen. She was marked. And she might have been used as a sacrifice. You need to understand the setting. It's Grammy weekend, the biggest weekend in music. The entire industry is in town. Clive Davis is throwing his legendary party right downstairs in the same hotel. The energy is high, but for Whitney, the energy was different. Let's go to room 434. That's the room number. Now, in numerology, people have broken that number down a million ways. But let's just focus on the physical room itself. When the authorities and the first responders got there, the scene they walked into did not look like a woman getting ready for a party. It didn't look like a normal hotel stay. Witnesses and insiders have leaked details over the years that suggest a ritual took place. The whole scene looked like something straight out of a horror film. The room was reportedly pitch black, not dim, but dark. And on the carpet, candles. But not just candles set up for a relaxing mood. These candles had melted down completely and they were arranged in a circle. Think about that for a second.
Now, it makes you wonder, who else in that room was in there with her? You see, she wasn't in that room alone. Also remember Clive Davis and I cannot remember her name for the life. I'm gonna say Moesha. Y'all know Brandy. We're giving an interview, right? Whitney comes down, hair wet, shades on, and she hands Brandy a note. And it dropped on the floor. Clive Davis turned around and looked down. You know, she was trying to hand Brandy a note. You know what I'm saying? And what was written on that note that she handed to Brandy. You see? But again, did Brandy know? Did Ray J know? Allegedly, we'll say. These are those things we have to look into and do our research on instead of looking at something. They tried it once, but she got away. They tried it again, but she didn't. These are those things that we pay attention to as we connect the dots with this whole thing.
Who takes a bath with candles arranged in a circle on the carpet in the main room? That is a specific setup for something sinister. That's an old mark. In the world of the occult, a circle is for containment, it's for summoning, or it's for a sacrifice. And it gets stranger. There was a mirror in the room. You may be thinking just a standard hotel mirror, right? Wrong. According to the people who saw the room before it was scrubbed clean, that mirror was covered with a black cloth. Now, why would someone cover a mirror? If you know anything about mysticism or old folklore, you know that mirrors are...
Well, what it does, it keeps either spirits out or spirits in when a ceremony is being performed. Everything has to be pitch black.
Consider portals. They are gateways for spirits. In many traditions, you cover a mirror when someone has died so their soul doesn't get trapped. But you also cover them during dark rituals to prevent something from coming through or to keep something in. Was that mirror covered by Whitney, or was it covered by the person or entity that was in the room with her? Now, mystics who have looked at this case say it's a clear sign pointing to another world, a sign that a deal was being closed. But let's rewind a few hours. Before the silence of that room, there was a noise. There was fear. Staff at the Beverly Hilton, people who have no reason to lie, people who are just doing their job, reported hearing terror in the hallways. They heard Whitney screaming, and what she was screaming sends chills down my spine. She wasn't yelling at an assistant. She wasn't fighting with a family member. She was screaming.
I bet you if you walk on that floor right now, you will feel it.
They want my voice.
They want my voice. Who are they? In the music industry, we always hear whispers about the jesters, the handlers, the people in high places who control the stars. But this sounds deeper. This sounds like a spiritual extraction. Whitney's voice wasn't just a talent, it was a force in nature.
Could we say that the devil came to collect? Could we allegedly say that? Because it's like Whitney and other artists, they sign their soul to the devil. You don't never know how the devil's going to come to collect. The devil don't care who you are. He wants what he wants when he wants it. Just putting that out there.
It was an energy. And in the world of high-stakes Hollywood rituals, energy is currency. If you believe the theories, someone or something came to collect that currency on February the 11th. There's another detail that police reports gloss over, but the hotel workers remember. They remember a second voice. After the screaming stopped and silence fell over room 434, workers allegedly heard a voice coming from the bathroom.
Hold up. I want to play that back.
Someone or something came to collect that currency.
Watch this. She's singing. Watch what he does.
On February the 11th. There's another detail that police reports gloss over, but the hotel workers remember. They remember a second voice. After the screaming stopped and silence fell over room 434, workers allegedly heard a voice coming from the bathroom. Whitney was the only person registered in that room. She was supposed to be alone, but they heard a low, creepy whisper. It wasn't a woman's voice. It was described as something cold, and it said 4 words.
The deal is done.
The deal is done? What kind of deal? Was this the end of a contract signed in blood years ago?
Meaning, she's gone. It's done. We know what the deal is. The deal is done. They wanted to make sure. Did Clive have something to do with it? We're going to say allegedly. These are allegeds. But we know what we know. Everything that has happened to artists that had an affiliation with Clive Davis, something has happened to them. Okay. Again, we have 2 people gone. We got Clive Davis. Okay. Come on now.
We know that Whitney struggled. We know she fought demons, both personal and public. The truth is, Whitney knew too much. She had reached the pinnacle of the mountain. She saw the wickedness that was at the top, and she wanted out. You see, the dark truth is that you can't just retire from the level of fame that Whitney had. You don't just walk away from the machine. If you try to break the contract, if you try to reveal the secrets, you are silenced. And usually...
Yeah. And either A, you give a sacrifice, or B, you will be sacrificed. That's just how it goes.
Usually, it happens in a way that looks like your own vices took you out. It's the perfect cover. Oh, it was just the drugs. Oh, it was just the lifestyle. It stops people from asking questions about the melted candles.
What that is to assassinate one's character. When she did that movie Sparkle, there was no signs of any drug use, of nothing. But you see how they bring up your past and use it against you. While they got something on the back end brewing to deal with you, to come see you.
It stops people from asking about the covered mirror. But the tragedy didn't end in 2012. And this is where the story goes from suspicious to absolutely impossible to ignore. We have to talk about Bobby Christina. 2 years later, the daughter of the queen, the heir to the legacy. You would think after what happened to her mother, she would be protected. You would think the people around her would keep her far away from that lifestyle as possible.
No, because she started speaking. And the message had to been sent to Bobby Brown. You feel what I'm talking about? Okay.
But the cycle repeated itself. Almost exactly. Bobby Christina was found unconscious. Where? In a bathtub. The scene was hauntingly similar. The water, the unconscious state, the lack of answers. Now, she held on for months in a coma before passing away. And just like her mother, the autopsy gave us nothing concrete. No clear answers, just vague medical terms that didn't explain why a young girl ends up face down in water just like her mother did. This is what people call a generational curse. But in the industry, they call it a payment. The theory is that sometimes the sacrifice requires the bloodline. It's a harsh, dark thought, but look at the history of Hollywood royalty. Look how many families lose multiple family members in the same tragic, strange ways. Brandon Lee and Bruce Lee, the Kennedys, and now the Houstons. When Bobby Christina was found, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It felt like a signature, like someone was leaving a caller card to say, we are still in control. We still own this bloodline. People who look into the Illuminati symbolism and the dark side of the entertainment business believe that water is a conduit. It represents the transition from this world to the next. Dying in water is seen as a purification.
Yeah, oftentimes, you know, you have individuals tapping into things. And it's simple. You sign your name on the dotted line in blood. You sign a contract. That contract has an expiration date. But the moment you sign that contract, all these riches and things will be added on to you. Things you will have access to. When your name is called, you will have to give a sacrifice so that you can keep your contract in good standing. You will have handlers that will be assigned to you. If you are a male artist, your handler could be a fine ass woman, the woman of your dreams. Whether she black, white, Hispanic, Asian, the woman of your dreams. I'm telling you something. That woman will be your handler to make sure you don't step out of line. And when you step out of line, she will be given certain orders to penalize you, to get you back in line. You see how that worked? Or, I mean, come on now. This is what you signed up for. We're not going to just let you say what you want to say and tell our secrets and let you walk. Especially when you've signed a contract. That's a breach of contract. Make sense now? Let's continue.
Or a returning to the abyss. The fact that both of them, mother and daughter, went out this way in a bathroom alone, it defies the odds of coincidence. So we have to ask ourselves, was Whitney trying to warn us?
And the other person, Quincy Jones. So we look at Quincy Jones, Clive Davis. We look at a few others. Their time is up. The devil will come collect on them too.
She screamed,
"They want my voice!"
Maybe she wasn't speaking metaphorically. Maybe she saw the entities coming for her. Maybe she saw the people in the suits standing there, waiting for the ritual to be completed. There are stories that Whitney was planning a comeback, but a different kind of comeback. That she was going to speak out, that she was going to clean up her life and expose the darkness she had lived in for decades. And that is a dangerous place to be. When an asset becomes a liability, the machine corrects itself. Room 434 wasn't just a hotel room that night. It was a stage for a dark ceremony that the public was never meant to see. They wanted us to see the tragic diva. They didn't want us to see the melted wax on the carpet. They didn't want us to know about the black cloth over the mirror. Because if we acknowledge those things, we have to acknowledge that the entertainment industry is running on something much darker than just money and fame.
A lot of people already knew what the entertainment industry is running off of. I remember when DMX went on Def Jam Poet and he gave his thesis on the industry. I remember when he went on Dr. Phil and gave his thesis on the industry. It's not like these individuals didn't already know. And the people on the outside, it's not like they didn't already know either. You're seeing certain things happen in plain view. And you're like, wait a minute. What we've researched and what we heard and seen are two different things. How they assassinate your character. Look at what happened with Martin Lawrence. I remember that with that situation with Martin Lawrence. They said he was bugging out. They say he ran across the freeway with a gun talking about they're trying to kill me. Who is they? Who is they? And he was on a 3-day hold. A 3-day psych hold. Okay. All right.
Whitney Houston was one of the greatest talents the world has ever seen. And usually, that kind of talent comes with a heavy price tag. Did she sign a deal that she couldn't get out of? Did the bill finally come due on that February night? And that whisper, the deal is done. Who said it? What is a handler? Clive Davis? A hitman? Or was it something not of this world? We may never get the police to reopen the file. They closed the book on Whitney and Bobby Christina a long time ago. But the streets talk. The industry whispers. And the evidence, those candles, that mirror, those screams, it remains. Now I want to know what you guys think. Do you believe the official story that this was just a common tragedy of addiction?
Or what? Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. I want to thank each and every individual for tapping in to this live stream. Be careful of what you sign. Do your homework. All right? It's your boy Big Truck. Go live your best life. One love.